Back hanging out at Tournament de Pizza. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone. The vinyl image will be coming on the table in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
All right.
So where do you see some of this stuff? It is
Excited.
absolutely killer. Did you hear, allegedly, because we don't do research.
Yeah.
Did you hear allegedly what Tom Brady said as he was leaving the stadium on Sunday?
No, I didn't.
Allegedly, a PR person went up to Tom Brady and said, "Don't you want to see your family?" As he was walking out. And you know what Tom Brady's response was?
No.
Why? Are they still here?
Was his family there?
Well, this
his
family was there at the
parents-
beginning of the game.
His parents, right? It's like because he's from California.
I understand that, but he had people there.
Okay.
So
Well, it wasn't his kids and
he just
Giselle.
assumed that they all left.
Yeah, because it was getting beat so bad
Right.
and it was raining.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think thought was
That's
pretty funny.
pretty
It definitely was hilarious. Bryce Mitchell, after the fight, I guess came out and said that he had the flu. I have a problem with that.
Does he remember having the flu?
I don't know.
Because he got beat.
No, he did
pretty
get
bad.
beat. No, he did.
It was a bad loss.
Tapoya is a tough dude. And if he fights Patty, I don't see any way possible they set that fight up.
Yeah.
Because, they went at each other at the press conference. To the point where Jared Gordon was apologizing to Patty
Yeah.
about something that he said. I don't know if you guys saw this. Jared said, "Hey, Patty, I want to apologize. I didn't mean to say you quit. I meant to say you just ran out of gas." And it's basically the same thing. It's just a nicer way to say you quit. And then all of a sudden, somebody starts ripping Patty. And it was almost like the Conor McGregor one where, who the F is this guy?
Yeah.
And it was Tapoya,
Yeah.
who was kind of getting on him and things got started.
There's this thing. People would love to get on Patty. And I understand that he's kind of taking on this heel thing.
Yeah.
So he's bringing on himself. But it's just like, dude, I understand.
He's the new Conor.
He's a star and he's young and the UFC's pushing him. And it's frustrating because some guys are older, they're not getting that kind of push. But I'm just like, let this guy fight until he loses. Don't just keep your mouth shut, just be quiet about it. But they sit there and they berate this guy because he's having success. Same thing they did with Sugar Sean.
Sure.
Everyone wanted that Sugar Sean. Then when he fought, who was his last fight? I'm blanking on his name.
That he won, yeah. I can't think of it.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, he lost a fight.
Right.
Or something. It's like, dude, the kid's a star. He's winning. He drives his nice cars. He has his pink hair. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's good for the sport. And get a fight against him, make a lot of money. I want that stuff to
Well,
stop.
and that's why there is that heat.
Yeah.
With Tapoya or whatever. It's because he's the new guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's going to get you the money.
Yeah.
What do you young kids call it? The cheddar.
Yeah. Get
The bag. Gotta get the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the bag.
Yeah, you gotta get the bag.
It's that as well. So
What about that 17-year-old?
he went to school on Monday.
Yeah.
He
Oh
bought
my
his mom
goodness.
a van and then went to school.
Could you imagine? I was talking to Mike Lickey about this. Could you imagine having that moment, being on the main card of UFC at 17 years old, then going to school after you just beat up a grown man?
Yeah.
Come on, that's got to be so cool.
I walked around for the first time ever, and I ran into Scott Peterson and Jake Hatton. And Jake said he used to train him and his two brothers. And he said, these kids have gas tanks that will never empty, ever. They could go 10 rounds.
Yeah.
And then he just went out there and totally dominated.
Yeah, it was awesome to see.
Yeah.
I always have had a problem, when like an 18-year-old fights a 32-year-old.
Yeah.
Because it's a kid fighting a man, but, we saw what
Yeah,
happened.
but because of evolution
And
of
it was
the sport,
Peter Yan.
Peter Yan, there we go.
But as
Peter.
the sport evolves, these kids are training from age 5 now, and they know that they can make it in
Okay.
mixed martial arts.
Ask you this: would you feel bad if an 18-year-old fought John Jones?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
For John Jones or for the 18-year-old?
For the
Okay,
18-year-old.
then, so it
for the
depends on who you're fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
No question. No
Yeah.
If
question.
an 18-year-old goes to fight Francis Ngannou, I'm worried about the 18-year-old. He's going to get his brains knocked out.
Right.
So it just depends on who you're fighting.
Well, and I thought the same thing. Not that I knew anything about him, but when you see a 17, 18-year-old fighting a man,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a high school star is going to go up against you on the offensive line,
Yeah, dude, no.
right?
Yeah, I'll drag you.
And then you have this kid come out there and
If he does that, you're like, because I know some guys Miles Garrett would have beat when he was a junior in high school. I know a few guys here who beat the NFL when he was a junior, and you see what he is now. So
Before we close out the first hour, did you see what Parsons said? Micah Parsons?
Yeah, he says that Jalen Hurts of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Is it?
He has a great team around him.
Well, of course he does. Tell me what MVP doesn't. What MVP doesn't have a team around him?
I think you put that team that Jalen Hurts has, and if you Patrick Mahomes, I think they go 20-0.
Okay. And they'll probably go 19-1.
No, they'll win the Super Bowl. Guaranteed.
Philly.
If you put, Philly.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. So they'll go
They're not-
19-1.
No.
Well, but if,
Jalen Hurts is not Patrick Mahomes. Don't even make that comparison.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not saying that.
I got shocked for a
No,
second.
I'm not saying that. Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in football.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying to win the MVP, you typically have a team around you. Or those pinpoint passes, or even those bad passes, are not going to get caught.
There were years that Tom Brady didn't have the best team around him, but he was just the best player in the NFL, and he made those guys better.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. He may not have had the best team, but he made them the best
well,
team.
but speaking of Brady, I have a stat here for you guys since I'm such an analyst in sports facts.
Yeah.
The
Did you
biggest
check
losses,
it twice?
Yeah, the biggest losses of Tom Brady's career.
This is so old.
2003, 0-31. We went on to win the Super Bowl. Patriots lost to the Bills. The Patriots in 2014 lost to the Chiefs 14-41, went on to win the Super Bowl. 2020, 38-3 against the Saints, went on to win the Super Bowl. And 2022, 7-35 versus San Francisco.
I am
to
not-
be determined.
I am not-
Will Brady win the Super Bowl this
You want to
year?
put money on
I
that?
am not a gambler, but I will
My
bet
money
that.
or Randy's money?
Yeah, I'll put whatever money on it.
Yeah, that ain't.
I'll put a lot of money that's not happening.
But he still has a chance. We're still number
He
one in
does.
the division. Still going to make the playoffs.
I think they can win a division, and I think they're going to win the first game, their first
Against
playoff game.
Dallas?
I'll
Here-
take Tom over Dak Prescott.
But they have
being
a,
No. The two quarterbacks, but I don't know if I would take
The team.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing at home against Dallas.
I've seen Tom Brady play in the playoffs.
It is Dallas, though.
it's a different
I've
guy.
seen Tom Brady play in the playoffs.
Sure.
He's a different guy in
I'm
the
going to leave
playoffs.
it at that.
What's
I've
up
won
with
a lot of money betting with Tom Brady in the playoffs.
what's up with Beasley?
Cole Beasley?
Yeah.
It's bored. Retirement's boring. I don't know. I'm not surprised. Retirement's boring. Very few guys leave and they're just like, oh, I'm cool. Look at Tom. He 2 months later, he's like, nah. Gronk came back. You know?
Will Gronk come back this year?
No, I think Gronk's
Not to Tampa.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think Gronk's done. I think Gronk's done, yeah.
No.
The beatings he's taken, the injuries he's had, I think he's done. I think he's happy doing what he's doing. Yeah, I don't think
What's he doing?
He's doing a lot of stuff. He's on commercials every week.
He's on one of the
doing
networks now.
wrestling, Yeah,
he's doing one of the
talks
networks.
sports. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back.
Now, how come, I just thought of this, how come he hasn't won the 24/7 title back? You know, he had the 24/7 title.
I did not know.
And then when he came back, he got beat in his front yard. Somebody just, the yard guy,
Yeah.
who was a WWE wrestler, pinned him and took the 24/7 title.
I will just a side note about WWE. They're getting better again. It's a different era, but I've watched SmackDown a couple of times, watched Raw a couple of times, and I'm kind of starting to get back into the
Really?
entertainment value. of it. Yeah, they're not doing a bad job.
See, I've lost it. I've lost that love and feeling.
I've watched a couple, man, and it's
I don't know if it's, and it takes time, and that's the whole thing about wrestling is it's characters.
you got to get invested.
And you got to get invested and get attached to them. And I still, in the back of my mind, when you're talking WWE, all I see is the Shield coming down from the rafters.
Yeah, I see The Rock and Stone
Right?
Cold, and yeah. But now you got the Imperial or whatever they are, and you got the Usos, and
So speaking of WWE
So?
or WWF, last week you started the show with like a loss, a 10-bell salute. I couldn't hear because I was having
To Mills
station
Lane.
issues. But it was Mills Lane, but Barry Windham had a heart attack last week.
He did.
Was it nice to see you? Any updates on him?
I haven't heard any. I know we have some contacts. And again, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
I love the Yellow Dog.
The storyline, like
Barry-
the whole character.
Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda. We had his nephew FaceTime. We didn't
Bray
have him on
Wyatt.
the air. Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wyndham is I believe his name is Wyndham Rotunda, who just went back to
That
the
is a great
WWE. But
name.
no, he had, yeah. Well, and you don't probably even know who either one of those guys are.
I know
but-
Bray Wyatt.
well, yeah, Bray Wyatt. His dad, Mike Rotunda, he was also known as IRS, long career in the wrestling world. And Barry Windham, long Barry, Blackjack Mulligan, his dad. Barry Windham, yeah, is in bad spot.
Hopefully he can pull through.
Hopefully he
It's tough.
can, because he definitely is the man. But I can't get into it. You know, like I try to flip it on Monday night during a commercial for football, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, we know it's scripted. I
Yes.
get all that, but when it's so bad. You know, and you see this move, and like the head doesn't even touch it. They lay there like they're.
Not every
It's
match.
like the Patty fight.
Not every
It's the
match, you know?
same.
But there are certain guys who like now I take away my past love from it and just watch the guys there who can have a good match and like do cool moves.
Who's your favorite person to watch then?
I like Kofi Kingston. He does a lot of exciting stuff.
He's okay.
I've grown to
I'm
love.
testing you.
Yeah, I've grown to love Tribal Chief.
Tribal.
That's my Nigerian name.
Because like for me, it's like he's the second generation of The Rock, right? The Rock wasn't a high flyer. Still going to high flyer.
Well, you know they're not related.
I know.
Okay.
It's just a
It's the family thing.
yeah, but you know, I know a lot of Polynesians, and they're all second cousins from somewhere.
Right.
If you ask enough people. So, but you know, like there are certain characters that I do enjoy. I do like to watch. You know, I do enjoy watching it sometimes.
And the athleticism's cool to see. Like,
It is.
Oh
Logan
no,
Paul-
absolutely.
Yeah,
Logan
Logan
Paul
Paul's
with
a
the
killer.
selfie jump.
I think
like,
he should stop and just go do WWE full time.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
Dude,
If he's making as much money there,
he's definitely not.
you know, then I wouldn't
Yeah.
push him to do that. Make
Yeah.
the money. Make the bag. Make the bags.
Yeah,
Make the
exactly.
cheddar.
Get the bag.
Get the bag.
Get the bag.
All right, let's go hit the top of the hour. When we come back, a lot of stuff still to go. Dave Manley's going to talk about the newest figurine that just got released. And a couple gifts are going to be handed out here very, very soon from the Vinyl Image. All that and a whole lot more. Oh, we got 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds, what do you got?
30 seconds. Pele, it's on a topic of sad stuff and somebody being sick. Pele got taken off of life support. Football legend,
Legend.
soccer legend, whatever you want to call it. Probably held as the best player to ever play before Messi and Ronaldo kind of stepped into the fold.
True.
So he's had cancer, was taken off of life support. So you know, prayers out to him and his family.
All right, that's what I get for throwing the underhand softball. We're going on this break on a real Debbie Downer. When we come back, we'll try to lift the place up. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Stepson.